Hey everybody, Emily here. I am about to try and walk you through how I do the GoPro editing on my phone, because there have been quite a number of you contacting me asking me how I managed to make what I make just using my phone. I promise you it's not magic. There's a little patience involved, partly because the app is a bit on the buggy side. So first tip, clear your phone memory. Stop all the background apps from running. This app is a memory hog, and it will hold on to a big chunk of the memory until your project's totally done and like gone and deleted, as in you've uploaded it, finished it, and then deleted the project. So it runs a lot better if you have a lot of memory available. Next up, before I get started, is people keep asking how I get my colors so bright and vivid, and the answer is I do not shoot in auto. It starts with your raw footage. I shoot in raw. I do leave some stuff auto, but in particular I keep my ISO manual. I have kind of my all-around setting for both cloudy, crappy, rainy days and bright, bright, bright bluebird days. I have my ISO minimum at 100 and max at 1600. That's a fairly big range. I do lose some highlights and detail using that high max ISO, but I'm lazy and I don't want to mess with my camera every single time. Sorry, I'm drinking soda as we do this. I shoot in 4K, 30 frames per second. I do not, this is just a personal choice, I don't like Ultra HD. Not just on GoPro, like in general. I think it looks weird. I think the motion looks odd. I think it's so crisp it looks almost fake. I'm sure that's a product of me being a child of the old days when things were actually filmed on actual film and a little more grainy, a little less resolution. It's just what I like. I don't like super, super, super crazy sharp. So, that being said, I also have my sharpness set to medium, not high. I do have the GoPro color selection turned on my camera. Everything else I pretty much let it do at auto. Oh wait, I also shoot in wide, not the super wide. I feel like super wide, you're not gaining much real estate, but everything looks so bowed and warped. It's just not, I don't know, I just don't think it looks as good. I'm not getting much out of it if I use it. So, run back over that. 4K, 30 frames per second, wide field of view, medium sharpness, ISO minimum of 100 and maximum of 1600 with the GoPro color turned on. That goes to my camera settings. I am shooting with a Hero 7, so it's not the newest and most badass camera, but it works for me. I don't know what other, fun options are available on the newer models. I just got what I got. So, let's get started. I'm going to assume you know how to get clips off your camera both into the cloud and onto your phone. If you don't, good luck. You're welcome to message me directly, but I think most of you can handle that. We're just going to use media that's already present on my phone that I've saved off my camera. Oh yeah, another nice feature with the brand new massive app update that they did is you can now use clips directly off your phone that were shot with your phone and that are not GoPro extensions. So I do know it'll use MP4 and .mov. I don't know what other extensions it's capable of using. This is just, what I've used so far. So I just picked a clip off my phone that I happen to know is MP4 format, and I can add more off of the app, which is again stuff I had right on my camera. Let's find something fun. Let's do, here's Wapanisha, and let's see, I like to add in just still photos sometimes. I mean, I'll just use this because I have it, but sometimes I'll grab screen frames of the group paddling or something. It's nice to have. Oh, like that one. And then let's see. I guess we'll use boxcar. Okay, so there's all my film clips all loaded up. give it a moment to process. I have learned to let it do its thing and finish loading up whatever process it's doing at the moment. It tends to crash if you try and do a whole bunch before it's done thinking. Like I said, it's a fairly buggy app. It's unfortunate, but it does do pretty well for something that's running on your phone. So, and it's free. So first thing, you've got your rough clips loaded. And I say rough because when I'm trimming them off my camera, I do really rough cuts. I do not try and get them perfect right there and then. Next up, I choose my theme. Pick your theme, stick with it. Don't try and change it out after you've done a million edits. That seems to be one of the things that it doesn't like. I don't know why. I think it's just too much for it to handle. It takes too much memory. To lapse. But you can, within each theme, sort of edit how it looks, change your font, change the graphic a little bit. They're pretty limited on that, but it is what it is. Next up, and by the way, I always do it in this order. It's especially the music next is super important. The length of your music that you add determines the total timestamp that you can have on your video. For some reason, apparently, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently the desktop version of this app has just a set 2.5 minute limit. That's what I read on the internet, which I think is kind of garbage because 2.5 minutes ain't that long. But on the mobile app, whatever music you add, if it's an 8-minute song, that's your max available length of your video. If it's 30-second long song, you can only make a 30-second video. Pretty lame. I will say that one of the things I learned doing a recent project was that I think about 4.5 to 5 minutes is really kind of the max it can handle using a phone. I just did an 8.5 minute video that it was so slow and buggy and crashing so often, it was absolutely infuriating. In the future, what I would have done was made 2 4-minute videos and then sort of smashed them together. So, lesson learned. There is a ton of music in the GoPro app that's free. You hit the plus button. So, the GoPro catalog's all free to use, no copyright. Yay. I'm a little tired of it. So I use a lot of songs off the YouTube audio library. They're all free to use, no royalties, no copyright. Also, if you just search no copyright or royalty-free music in YouTube, there are so many channels with tons and tons and tons and tons of music. You'll never run out, I promise. I use, it's slightly illegal, YouTube MP3 Ripper program. It's legal. What I'm doing is legal because I'm using copyright-free stuff. But if you were to say, rip the audio out of a copyrighted thing or somebody else's video, that's not technically legal, just so you know. Okay, so this is just some of the random stuff. I've also been known to smash 2 MP3s together in an MP3 editing software before I load it in here. If I really like a song, but it's only a minute long, I can make it a lot longer by just looping it and then loading it. So, I have no idea what off this is anymore. I'll just use this. I have no idea what it is. For your guys' sake, in a moment I'm going to actually turn the music off, because what I learned when trying to make this video about 10 minutes ago is that my phone screen recorder will let the media override the mic, even if I have the volume turned all the way down. So, but I've added the music. Then you go to timestamp. This you can continue to mess with a little bit throughout your editing. I think GoPro actually does a fairly good job analyzing the music and finding good spots to end, like where the music's fading out, or a really good, high point, I guess. If you absolutely need to max out your clips and squeeze every little last second out of them, go to max. Okay. And again, normally I wouldn't do this, but I'm going to go with no music. That way I don't blast your guys' eardrums out when I make this. Alright. Okay, now we go back to the clip editing menu. It starts out with an automatic title card inserted. Hit text. You add whatever you want. That is not the only title card you are limited to. You can click on any clip, scroll over in the menu to text. The two options. The right hand one with two T's, that is an overlay text. Okay, that'll play over the video. Or the left hand, the big T, is a title card. So it'll play just as its own. So I could type. I cannot type. I'm such a dork. Okay. So now I've just added a title card. It will always insert it straight in front of the clip you did, but you can also, once you hit done, you can grab it by long pressing and move it around or trash it. Pretty simple. Okay, so what else did we have here? So I start out by trimming my audio. So I select my clip, or not my audio, I'm sorry, I trim the length. Losing my train of thought, I apologize. So select your clip, want to trim it. I'm not a huge fan, especially for whitewater, of the GoPro Auto feature. It seems to always want to pick audio, and it doesn't really catch the visual high points that well. It might work great for mountain biking or skiing. I don't know. I really only use this with whitewater, and I don't think it works great. You can still adjust the length of your clip in the auto, but I almost always use manual or highlight, unless it just so happens that the auto feature is magically picking up what I wanted it to, just by sheer luck. Manual will just play a straight front to back of whatever section you picked. The thing I don't like about manual is that all those little visual effects that your theme adds, it won't use those. So you're literally just playing straight video. Highlights, you have a little more control. It'll keep some of the visual effects in. I had not added highlights to this clip yet. So it's saying you're missing highlights, you want to try them. You can get to it that way. You can also, in your tray menu, pick highlights. And there you go, you can also add them here. The old version of the app had highlights and Slowmo. I'll get to that in a minute, but they took away the Slowmo feature in the highlights and kind of changed it and made it better in a different section. So I just scanned through, and let's say there's, oh look, he just landed that. I'll do that. Oh, here comes the next guy. I want his approach. Oh, missed it. And then stunk. Right there. You can grab these and kill them. You can grab them and move them. It's up to you. Okay, so if I want to go back to trim, I'll trim here, and I'll set it to highlights. Check. So now, when I play it, now you see how it's selecting what I wanted, but it's including all those little feature effects of my theme, which was laps. So that little fast-forwardy cut, that's from the laps theme. If I want to add, and this is where they really changed something for the better, I think, with this new app. The old one, you had to just, your choice for a slow-mo was literally to hit a slow-mo highlight. It never worked very well. Now you have full control. You can either do half speed slow-mo, you can speed it up 1 or 2 times. You can also hit a pause frame. So like I want to pause him right there, hit the pause, add it, however long you want it to hold for. Pause, check. So let's see. Go back to it. Sorry, I'm just letting it play through there, and it should. Did I not? Maybe I didn't make it very long. See if that worked. Sometimes, and that feature is really new. I'm still kind of learning how to make that work really well. So we'll see if that worked. It did not. And I'm betting you anything, it's because it's a section of the video that I don't have a highlight on. Probably. Or perhaps, see, we're learning together. Let's see if it worked. Slowmo worked. Okay, so apparently, let's try it on manual and see if that works. I'm just curious. I'm literally figuring this part out as we speak, interestingly enough. Of course, now I just made the trim really long. Oh, there. See, it worked. So apparently that slow-mo feature and speed up, slow down, pause only works in manual trim. Ta-da! We figured it out. Okay, moving on. So that's speed. Another thing I do, like if somebody's really far away, the frame edit. This footage is actually pretty decent. But if somebody's way far out in the distance, really little, you can mess with the frame, how far it's zoomed in. Angle. It does, of course, the resolution gets crappier the more you're zoomed in, and you do have to kind of make sure they stay in frame, but that is a trick because the GoPro cameras don't have very good long, their lenses are pretty short range, what do we call it? I'm not a photographer, can you tell? So that's something I use pretty frequently. What else? That was trim. We did the speed. I think I talked about the errors that can occur. Once you have... Oh, here's one for you. So these are photos I added. You can change their duration, long, short. Same with your text and title cards, long, short. Those are not fixed times. They're relative to your overall video. It will start trimming them down and making them quicker if you're trying to pack every last second into a video. So if it's trying to automatically make 10 minutes of video fit in an 8-minute timestamp, it's gonna sort of start compressing things and trimming microseconds off wherever it thinks it can. And the title cards and photos are one of those. So just keep that in mind as you're going along. Once you have all your trims right where you think you want them, let's do not trim on this one. The boxcar. And you've saved it. We'll pretend I saved it. For the sake of speed, I won't. So, I do all my trimming and speed and highlighting and all that stuff first. Then I go back in and I start working with the actual, first I do a filter, pick from it. They added a ton with this update. It used to be just these quote-unquote essentials. I generally don't go with a full 100%. I'll usually drag it back a little bit just because I like enriched colors, but I don't know. I'm not trying to go too crazy. Sometimes I'll leave them at 100%. Yeah, depends on what you like. So you do your filter and then do adjustments. I almost never, ever use their auto function. I just don't like it. I think it makes everything look terribly flat and blue for some reason. They want everything to be very blue. I don't often mess with exposure unless something was really funky about the lighting that day. But, if you know me, I love me some color. So I'll generally bump the saturation up, which in GoPro language is the vibrance. I'll take the contrast up a little bit or a lot bit, depending on my feeling that day. I generally don't mess with the temp too much, but drag your shadows back, you're going to get more shadow. Drag it up, it's going to get lighter. And it's pretty obvious. Same with highlights, drag up, lighter, drag down, darker. I'm generally willing to sacrifice a little bit of detail for more visual pop. So I'll bump the highlights up, and you'll see, let's see. I'm trying to find a good spot to show you. Okay, so you'll lose some detail. See, as I drag the highlights down, the waves, all that whitewater looks a little more detailed. I'm willing to sacrifice that for a brighter, more colorful aesthetic, I guess. But that is entirely your choice. That's really all there is to it. And you just do that clip by clip. Add your text wherever you want it. I mean, there's really, like I said, there's no magic to it. Well, I also take off the GoPro logo at the end usually. Just waste time on your video. I guess my only tips about, I'm not running like class 4 or 5 whitewater, so when I make my videos, I know that they're not going to be like, oh my god, that rad drop, whoa. It's more about, having sort of a fun kind of diary for me and the people on the run to go back and look at. And I like to make it a little more humorous and lighthearted just because it's more fun. So, I don't just shoot the actual like rapids. I'll shoot, put in, take out, people telling jokes in the eddies, scouting, just anything to kind of make it a little more interesting. That's really all there is to it. Go have fun, enjoy, and hopefully I helped you in some small way. If not, you just watched a really long video for no reason.